Wayward Magic, Chapter 9. A Place Called Grael. Tam turns to me. Grael? Is that the place you believe the captured girls are being taken? Sophia gives a tiny nod. So you have heard of it. I had a chance to interrogate a member of the guard, I reply. After, I cut off his ear. He told me he'd heard rumors of the place, but that he'd never seen it. Sophia is quiet for a second, and when she speaks, her voice is soft. Well, I have. So has Dara. It's where we met. Like my village, you won't find Grael on any map, but that's because they keep it hidden. It's a massive prison. A city, really, designed exclusively to house girls and women who can touch magic. But why? I ask. I get them wanting to stop girls from using magic, but why go through the trouble of creating a place like this? Because they fear us. Because they are afraid of what we can do, and perhaps rightfully so. But most of all, because they want to take what we have. Cressa is staring open-mouthed. Take? You mean... Sophia nods. There is something that allows men to take the power away from those of us who can touch magic. I do not know the specifics, how it works or what happens in the process, but I do know what happens to the girls afterward. The ones who aren't killed by the process are left drained. Drained of spirit, drained of emotion, drained of memory, the will to live. They are empty vessels, a shattered remnant of the beautiful girl that was once there. I catch a look from Tam and remember her description of her friend who was captured and later returned. I said there were 20 of us who were taken from my village. We were marched on foot from the village to Grael, far in the north. By the time we arrived, only 15 of us were still alive. And while Sophia says nothing out loud, I'm suddenly hit with a series of mental images from her. A woman taken down with arrows in her back while trying to escape. An elderly woman simply falling down in the road, exhausted and unconscious, and the guards forcing the others to leave her behind. A young girl who had lost her entire family in the village massacre, walking along a bridge with her hands shackled. She looks down in the water, then simply turns and pitches herself over the edge of the bridge and down into the river below. And as she falls, she is smiling. I blink and feel tears forming anew, and a glance at Tam and Cressa show me that they saw the same thing, pictures in our head as vivid as any of our own memories. Well, Sophia says with a quiet exhale, I need to tell the rest of this story while I still have the strength. Our small group from the village is brought into the prison, and we're quickly assimilated into the larger group. Remember before when I mentioned that I could feel when you three walked into town? Some of us are able to feel the ability in others. But once we were inside the walls of Grael, all of that went away. Well, no, it didn't go away completely. It was muffled, suppressed. I didn't understand what was happening until a few days later. A small group of us were sitting outside at a small table, eating the paltry meal they allow us, when a woman, even older than me, sat down next to us and smiled. And suddenly, just like before, Sophia's visions flood my mind. Sitting at the table are Sophia and her granddaughter, along with 4 other women, and at the end, a young Dara. The older woman sits down with her tray of food. She looks at Sophia and smiles, but says nothing. Instead, she thinks it. Hello. All the women at the table stop eating and look up. Sophia is stunned. She's been trying for days to reach out, to push out her thoughts, anything. But she has been unable to touch the magic at all. Even now she is unable to respond to the woman. The woman looks down at her plate and picks at her food with her fork. Please keep eating. They will know something is wrong otherwise. Sonia looks at her grandmother, who nods, and they begin eating again, only glancing occasionally at the other woman. I am called Moshi. They think that they are able to stop all use of magic here. They think none of us can touch magic here. But they are wrong. Sophia frowns. Who? Moshi puts up a hand. Don't speak. They can hear you. You are new here. Welcome. I can help you. The men who run this place are somehow able to weaken our power, but some of us are stronger than they realize. They think we cannot touch magic at all. It is harder, but not impossible. But we cannot let them know that. She looks across the table, reading expressions. You are surprised because you cannot touch magic at all. Am I correct? Sophia and the others nod. Moshi begins eating, but her thoughts continue. I don't know how they're blocking us. There are nearly 100 women here and nearly that many guards. The few of us who are strong enough to still feel magic could fight back if we chose to, but we would be grossly outnumbered, and they would simply slaughter those of you who cannot fight back. So that is not an option. But neither is doing nothing. What they are doing here, it will kill us before long. Fighting back is not yet possible, but escape may be. Sophia gives Moshi a questioning look. Nothing said out loud, no thoughts being pushed, but the meaning is still clear. How? Instead of answering directly, Moshi gives a tiny nod and picks at her food some more. There is a girl. Her name is Doll Frey. I have not seen her, but I have felt her. We have spoken. Like this. Talking without talking. She is more powerful than any other person here. More powerful than anyone I have ever felt in my entire life, and I have lived quite a long while. I asked Doll how old she was. At this point, Moshi puts down her fork and stares at Sophia. She told me she was 6 years old. Only 6. 6, and able to use magic, and to use it at a level beyond my understanding. She is scared, but not for herself. She has near full use of her powers. She is that strong. But the men are holding her father at a different location. She has been told if she ever uses her powers, they will kill her father. And she will not risk it, as he is all that she has left. Sophia drops her eyes, thinking of her granddaughter, who she thinks of as her second daughter, sitting next to her, and the lengths she would go to, has gone to keep her safe. And just like that, the vision fades, and we're back in the warm farmhouse, listening to the rain outside. Cressa takes a breath and asks, Did you ever meet her, the little girl your friend told you about? Sophia shakes her head. No, I never did see her in person, but she contacted me, and I certainly felt her. We all felt her. We were kept in cells during most of the day, large buildings 5 or 6 stories high, made of iron and stone. Each room was barely large enough for 2 beds, a basin, and a chamber pot. They fed us. They let us out on occasion to walk around the open areas. High fences and stone walls blocked us in, but at least we could see the sky and feel fresh air. Because they must keep you alive, you see. For what they do to work, the girls must be alive. Sophia goes to sip her tea, but pauses before sipping. She hands the mug to Cressa. It's gone a bit cold. Be a dear, would you mind? Cressa blinks, then nods, then wraps 2 hands around the mug and closes her eyes. She opens her eyes, focuses on the mug, and within seconds the tea is steaming hot again. She smiles and hands the mug back to Sophia. Sophia takes a sip and nods. Such good girls you all are. Well, back to my story. The first 2 weeks were miserable, but we endured it. My Sonia and I were distraught over the murder of our friends and the destruction of our village, our house, our belongings. But we had not been separated from each other, so at least we still had that. And we began to learn more and more about the prison as well. Tam says, Moshi said that what they were doing there would end up killing all of you. She meant what you had said a moment ago, about them taking away the girl's power? Correct, Sophia replies. We didn't know how they were doing it, or why they were doing it. There were even rumors among the girls that the men were actually able to store and use the power they stole. But I don't see how that's possible. What we did know was that it was a slow process, taking days, sometimes weeks. Every day, 1 or 2 girls would be taken somewhere. And when they would be returned to their cell, they would be a little less energetic, a little more lifeless. This would continue for a few days until the girl was eventually brought back, listless and without emotion. Her personality and any memory of who she used to be was destroyed. Moshi and those like her, those who were strong enough to still feel the ability in a girl, who could feel the spark, they could tell that the girls were coming back weaker and weaker until finally they had no spark in them at all. At that point, the wardens would declare that the girl had served her time and would be returned to her family, assuming, of course, they had a family to return to, or a family that wanted them back, assuming the girls were even returned and weren't just dumped on the side of the road. Tam swallowed. I have seen a girl return to her village like that, living, but with no life left in her eyes. Sophia nods. The men of the Emperor's Guard are not stupid. So long as some of the girls are returned to their villages, so long as they can claim that they are simply curing the girls of their magic, then most people will continue to support them. But yes, the process destroys the person the girl used to be. And so, with a few girls a week being chosen and drained of magic, we knew there was little to do but wait and hope they don't call your name. According to Moshi, there seemed to be no rhyme or reason to the choosing. Some women were chosen days after arriving. Some, like her, had been there a year or more without having their names called. Age did not seem to be a factor, nor how strongly they could touch magic. Weeks passed, until I realize what she's about to say, and it hits me like a punch to the chest. Your granddaughter, Sonia. Sophia nods sadly. They called her name. I considered telling Sonia to, I don't know, to run, to hide, to resist, something. But my sweet Sonia, she simply smiles and says, if it is me, then that means another girl is spared. Better me then, so that it gives another girl a chance to live. Sophia takes a deep breath and exhales slow and shaky. Hells, she whispers, years later, and it still gets me. Sophia clears her throat. Besides, Sonia says, I can come back after and tell you what happened to me. Perhaps you can pass that knowledge on, and perhaps we can use that to help save other girls somehow. Sophia gives a soft chuckle. You see now what a sweet, loving girl my Sonia was, always thinking of others. And so, the next morning, Sonia goes off with a pair of guards. Hours pass, and when she returns to our cell that afternoon, I almost don't recognize the poor girl. She trembles at my slightest touch. She refuses to say anything about what happened to her. All she would say was, please don't make me go back. I managed to coax the poor girl to go with me to the dining area for food. We find a small, secluded table with Moshi and Dara. Sonia just sits and stares at her tray, not eating, not speaking. Sophia now looks over at Dara, still smiling, still sitting on the floor, looking up at us, her hands resting in her lap. That was when kind Dara reached out and placed her hand on Sonia's arm. I blink and everything flashes. I see it. We all see it. Memories as sharp and vivid as if we were there. Dara gently sets her hand on Sonia's arm, and the change in Sonia is as shocking as it is immediate. Her eyes go wide. She turns and stares at Dara, tears flowing freely and silently down her cheeks. Her breath hitches in such a way that Sophia actually thinks that Dara is hurting her. Sophia is about to leap to her feet, but Moshi puts a hand on her shoulder. No, stay. Moshi thinks it, pushes it out, doesn't say it out loud. Moshi gently touches Dara's shoulder, creating a chain between Dara, Sonia, and herself. Take your daughter's hand. Feel it. Feel what Dara is doing. Sophia reaches out, hesitant, afraid. When she slides her fingers around her granddaughter's, Sophia turns her gaze toward her. She's healing her. Gods be praised, she's healing her. And Sophia can feel it, life and joy flowing through her granddaughter. Not magic, though. Somehow Sophia can feel that, like a wound that is scarred over. Sonia may never touch magic again, but the sweet, joyous girl she knows and loves is still in there somewhere. Moshi turns toward Dara. Dara, can you still touch magic, even through the blocking? Can you heal someone? Heal their body as well as their mind? Dara returns Moshi's smile, and one word echoes through the minds of all four women. Heal, heal, heal. And through the physical connection between the four, more images flash. Not from Moshi or Dara this time, but from Sonia. An underground prison cell. Dungeon is the word that is conjured up, though none but Moshi have ever heard of such a thing. And then more images that none of the four can fully understand. Steel, metal, light, something large and glowing and crystalline, something else loud and dark and horrible. A nightmare of steel and metal and light. Images are blurred and tinged with pain, Sonia's pain, and her screams. Sophia feels her granddaughter's pain. She feels it so strongly, in fact, that she tries to release Sonia's hand. But Sonia flexes, tightens her grip, holding Sophia's hand tight, and through her pain, through her tears, there is a smile. Sonia is smiling at Sophia, smiling at the woman she thinks of as mother, even though it's excruciating to do so. She wants to remember. She wants to show them what she saw. She wants them to see. We're back in the farmhouse, and Cressa is taking a hard, ragged breath. Tam looks like she might sick up at any second now. Sophia has her eyes closed, tears flowing. Dara sits quietly on the floor, staring down at her hands. "What," Cressa says slowly, "in the absolute hells was that?" "I do not know," Sophia replies. "You saw just now the same thing that we saw then, but it made no sense to any of us at the table at the time, and time hasn't made it any more clear. I have never seen anything like it in my life." I take a breath and say, "I have." And I realize that I have to be very, very careful about what I say next. But I can't tell you where. Tam turns to Sophia. "There are things she cannot tell us," she says simply. "Yet," I add. "I can't tell you yet. Perhaps one day, but for now, I can't." I pause for a moment before asking, "What happened next? Did you learn anything from Sonia?" She looks off, staring at the distance as if seeing something no longer there. Finally, she says, "No. The following morning, Sonia walked off with 2 guards, and that was the last time I ever saw her." Tam blinks, shocked. "I do not understand. What happened?" Sophia looks like she's searching for the words. Finally, almost as a whisper, she says, "Doll Frey." Sophia is walking along a small open common area. In every direction there are high walls and guards with swords and short spears. Dara is by her side. Sophia gasps audibly as she is blinded by light so overpowering as to almost drive her to her knees. "Hello, Sophia." Sophia's mind is filled with an image, a young child sitting quietly and alone in a cell. Her eyes are closed, legs crossed beneath her. Even though Sophia has been cut off from magic since the moment she set foot in Grael, she finds that, while she is connected to the young girl, she can somehow respond. "You know me?" "Yes, Sophia. I've been watching you. I can't leave my cell, but they don't know that my mind travels." "You are the girl named Doll." "I am. I need your help, Sophia. I've seen your mind. You're a good person. Wise, older, but still strong. I know you'll help me." "How? What can someone like me do that you can't?" "Escape. You can escape, and I can help you." And then what enters Sophia's mind is something that she hadn't allowed herself to feel since that day in the village. Hope. However small, however tiny, it's there. Hope. "Escape is impossible, doll." "For me it is, but not for you." "How? How could I possibly get out?" "A guard will come for you. I have tricked his mind. He now wants to take you away from here. He does not know why or how. He only knows that he must do it. He only knows that he wants to do it. He will take you away." Panic forms in Sophia's mind. "I can't leave my granddaughter. I can't." Silence, and then, "Your granddaughter is no longer here. Her mind has been broken. I'm sorry." Pain and anguish flow through Sophia like none she has ever known. Worse than the loss of her parents, the loss of her husband, her first daughter, the loss of her entire village. At the end of all that loss and suffering, now she has nothing. So there in the middle of the commons, Sophia drops to her knees and wails. She sobs until she feels a gentle hand fall on her shoulder. Dara. And Dara somehow touches Sophia's mind, perhaps because they are both connected through the girl doll. Dara touches Sophia's mind with one thought. Peace. Sophia takes one long, jagged breath, and her heart settles. The pain is still there, but it is momentarily dulled. Her heart is filled with the years of love that Sonya had given her, and she feels that love. She quiets, sniffing back tears. Rise, Sophia. They are watching you. Mourn later. Now you must rise. For Sonya, you rise. For Sonya, I will rise. When you leave, I ask that you take the girl Dara with you. She may be your new daughter if you wish. She would like that. She has never known love. How do I? The girl cannot speak. No, you'll have to teach her to speak with her mind. Her magic is strong, and she is open. She can learn. Fill her mind with knowledge. Fill her heart with love. And Moshi? Moshi is still needed here. She must help the others. Don't worry. I can keep her safe. What do I do once I'm out? You must find the town of Chartree. Find my father. Find out what has come of him. They say he's still alive, but I fear that's not the truth. I think they're lying to me. What if he's not there? He may have left town, or they may be holding him somewhere else, or if something's happened to him, someone will know. The town will know. Denal Frey, my father. The guards here tell me he's alive and that they will kill him unless I'm good. I need you to find the truth. I have to know. But how am I supposed to let you know? I may not ever be able to return here. You will do your best. I will be patient. That is all either of us can do. And what if he's not? If he's gone, if he is dead, then I will mourn. First I will mourn, and then I will rise. For my father I will rise, and then I swear upon all I know and love, all the gods and demons that ever were, that I will find the ones responsible, and I will kill them. I will kill them all, every single last one of them. It takes a moment for me to realize that we're back in the farmhouse, and a moment later, I notice that the rain has stopped. I can only tell because the entire room is eerily silent. Well, Cressa says quietly, fuck me all the way down to the 9 hells and back again. Tam shoots her a disapproving scowl. A lady does not swear. After hearing a story like that, Cressa says, yes, she sure the fuck does. Tam scowls again and shakes her head. She considers something, then says, Sophia, in your memory, in the vision you showed us, Dal Frey seems to be very intelligent and well-spoken for a child of 6 years. Cressa raises an eyebrow. The girl can use her mind to speak to people she's never met before, through walls and over a great distance, and she can do it at an age when most girls don't even know they can touch magic. But the thing you notice is her vocabulary? Tam sniffs. Well, Tam's right, though. It did seem odd. But Cressa's right in that everything about this girl has been odd from the start. I say, I pause, not even sure how to ask it. Is that how you got out? Sophia nods. Exactly as Dal said. A guard showed up later that day. He slapped both Dara and me in shackles. At the gate, he produced some kind of document, told the guards at the gate that we were to be given to a local land baron as servants, on order of the emperor or some such. He marched us down a road, an hour's walk away from Grael. Then he unlocked the manacles, dug into his cloak pocket, and dropped a small sack of coins in the dust. And then he turned and walked off without another word. Then what happened? Cressa asks. Then, well, the coins were enough to get started, but without horses or supplies. We needed more money than that if we were to make it all the way to Chartree. So that meant taking small jobs, cleaning houses or mucking stalls or whatever we could find. And that meant time. But I had Dara with me, and, well, time together meant time to spend teaching her to use her abilities to push out her thoughts to others. To teach her to, as Dal said it, speak with her mind. It took us nearly a year of slow travel to make our way here to Chartree. We finally made it here about a year ago, but getting information on Doll's father was harder. Not many people wanted to talk to a strange woman and her mute grandchild, especially with everyone nervously throwing around the word witch. I was about to resort to walking around and prying into every mind I could find, which I didn't really want to do, lest I be discovered and burned at the stake. That was when we found Scarlet. Or, well, she found us. A strange woman with a black cloak and red hair. She said her organization was devoted to helping and protecting the innocent, and she seemed to know somehow that Dara and I were in need of help. Dara told me that we could trust her. No idea how she knew that, but she was right. Once we told her our story, Scarlet bought this old run-down farmhouse on the outskirts and suggested we fix it up as a place to stay while she sought out information on Doll's father. But she told us to only fix up the inside. Leave no evidence to prying eyes that anyone was living here. She was worried that perhaps the Emperor's Guard would discover that we were escapees. A week or so after that, Scarlet came to us with the news. 2 days after his 6-year-old daughter had been taken from him, Denal Frey had been dragged out of his own house by the Emperor's Guard and hung from a tree. They named him traitor and strung him up on his own property. No wonder, then, that the townfolk were wary to talk about him. Scarlet stayed on with us for some time longer, helping us to restore the interior of the farmhouse and bringing us food and supplies from the town. And then one day, she said it was time for her to go. She said that as strong as the magic is in Dara and me, it would only be a matter of time before someone else found us. If it was the Emperor's Guard that found us first, she told us to run. But if it was a member of her group, a Knight of Krell, then I was to give you a 2-word message. Something that meant nothing to me, but something that she said you'll understand. I take a breath. So, what's the message? Sophia looks right at me. She said, "Abandon protocol." I blink. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Sophia's eyes narrow. And I can see from your expression that you know what that means. Yes, I say quietly, I know exactly what it means. Cressa looks at me expectantly. So what does it mean? I sigh. It means I can finally tell you where I come from. This ends Part 1 of Wayward Magic.